Hi, welcome to Big Guy Boards. I'm Scott. This is going to be a follow-up review of the ETC Unicorn. I've got some much better footage now of me surfing the board from a different perspective. So it's kind of from straight on, so you get a better idea of what it's like for me to surf the board. There's a few other bits I forgot to mention in the last review. So I'll start with the construction. This board has an EPS foam core. I didn't really mention the laminate on the deck as well, so obviously there's a bit of timber laminate there, and he's using a certain type of resin that's quite sustainable, but he's also done a lot of work with experimenting with different materials to try and get something really durable as well. And this board is absolutely bomb proof, so I've been surfing it for quite a while now and there's not a mark on it. Steve's done loads of experiments testing the materials and their durability, and they can take loads of weight, so he piled loads of weights on them to see how much weight they would take. Loads of experimentation until he finally settled on this. This thing's going to last you ages. It's not going to ding as easily as other boards, and it's just a really solid board. With the EPS, it's not something I usually surf, and I was really surprised with the buoyancy. So this is around my normal volume, I think it's around 42 litres, 41 litres maybe, and it's just so floaty, and that's compounded more with the foil of the board as well. So you can see there's loads of foam under the nose, under the chest, sorry, but just the whole template of the board plus the EPS makes it feel probably 4 or 5 litres bigger. So I could definitely, if I was to get another one of these, I'd definitely go down. We stock a 510. I could probably go smaller than that. So I'd say knock at least 3, 4, 5 litres off your standard volume when you're looking at one of these. So ours range from 38 litres up to 45, I think. So yeah, that's the construction. I talked about how it surfs in the last video, but I've been surfing it non-stop since I've got it, basically. And just some of the main things about how it surfs, and you'll see in the footage as well. Well, number one, it's just the paddling is unbelievable, and as I said, you know, I could drop down definitely to the 5.8 of the 5.10 of this model, possibly smaller. It's just so easy to paddle, it's unbelievable, and that's like a range of things. The kind of template of the board, it's relatively flat. There's quite a bit of kick in the nose, and a tiny bit out of the tail, but it's a relatively flat board. So, you know, there's a number of things that help with a ridiculous speed of this board, but part of that is the rocker and the channels, which I mentioned in the last video. So unbelievable paddling, stupid speed down the face like nothing I've ever experienced. And you can see on the footage, which you'll see in a sec, as soon as I engage the rail, the board just kind of squirts forward. It's quite a strange feeling, and you have to try one of these yourself really to experience that. And then yeah, really easy to turn. So you see me doing a few cutbacks. The footage is of a point, kind of open face point, so I'm not doing that many, well, don't think I'll do any re-entries really, but on beach break you can really flick it around as well. And I'm really struggling to find anything to fault this board. Now I've been surfing it for quite a while, I just keep going back to it and I absolutely love it. I don't think I mentioned the price of this board in the last video. So obviously I've had these imported from Australia, which is quite costly when you add on the import tax as well. So if you were to import one of these yourself, it would probably be close by the time you bought a board. Import costs, import tax, you're looking at nearly £2 to get one of these. So to get one from me in the UK, it's slightly more costly than you know, your standard short board from being churned out of a factory. But these are all hand shaped by Steve, and he's put a lot of time and love into these. And like I say, importing them from France, importing them from Australia is obviously going to bring the cost up slightly, but it's well worth it in my opinion for these. Who would this board suit? I didn't mention that in the last video. I think this is going to suit quite a range of people. If you're transitioning from the beginner to intermediate stage, a bigger one of these would be perfect. So we've got a 6.0 coming in at nearly 50 litres, and that would be ideal for someone who wants to go a bit shorter. Obviously, the amount of volume in this at 6 foot is unbelievable, and it's really going to help you get used to riding something shorter, but with the large amount of volume. And like I say, the bigger one, the bigger 6.0 we do, is going to feel more like, you know, 50 plus litres, almost 55 litres. So that's really going to help you progress, but still with something with quite a lot of volume in quite a small package. Also, if you're kind of intermediate surfer, maybe coming down from bigger boards and you're trying to transition into a shorter board, you could get one that's kind of more towards your volume or slightly lower, as I said, because it's loads more float. And this is really going to help you learn how to generate speed, because it's so good at that, but you can still whip it around. So it's a really good board for an intermediate surfer, possibly wanting to transition onto more high performance short boards. And then if you're an advanced surfer, you can bring the volume right down and just go ridiculously fast, but still be able to do turns. So it's a kind of every man's board really, and I'd kind of just change the volume depending on your ability. And like I've said, factor in the fact that this is going to feel 4 or 5 litres different than the actual volume of the board. These are available now at bigguyboards.com.